everyone, I'm Diane and this is my channel for learning to paint the natural world in watercolour. Every day I paint in my studio and share fun and helpful projects like these with you, full of ideas for painting the natural world with a touch of magic. As well, I have loads of tips to share and inspiration. So why not click subscribe and join me here to start your wonderful watercolour journey. So this afternoon I'm going to have a go at painting a branch of Wisteria in flower. We used to have Wisteria in a house we had until recently, and all it did was grow leaves. It didn't grow any flowers, which was very frustrating, but we can always imagine what it might have been like had it managed to put out some blossoms. So this is my reference photo here. Now, in order to achieve this violet purpley colour, I'm going to use all of the purples that I have and a pink and a blue in my palette, which is not very many actually, but I'm going to show you a different way of doing this, which works quite well, because we're going to do this by spattering and spraying and generally getting paint everywhere. So I have got here some yet another variety of small dish. This is little Pyrex dishes, which I know you can easily get these on Amazon, and they're used for dips, things like soy sauce and butter or various different things like that you can put in them, but I use them for painting. I bought a pack of 20, I think, years ago, and I've still got a dozen of them left, so they last forever. And then, so, okay, that one's going to go to one side for a minute, because that one is a bit of a rebel. So we take our little dish and we take our colour, and we know we're going to use a fair bit of this paint in this particular masterpiece. So we'll just squeeze a drop in there. This is quinacridone purple. And then I'm going to grab my spray bottle from the garden and just top that up, not top it up, but put in there some water, and then mix it up to bring it all into solution to make a nice dark colour. And now the thing is, we then have to test it to make sure that we've got enough paint in ratio to the water. So I have my little notebook here and we'll try it out. And I would say that that was a decent amount of strength, probably. If it comes out too light, just add some more paint. So that's the quinacridone purple. And then we're going to go for dioxazine mauve. And I'm hoping that this isn't quite the same. I'm hoping, keep your fingers crossed, that this is a slightly different colour. It's supposed to be bluer than the first one there. It's supposed to be bluer, so we'll see. Put a bit of water on it. Clean brush. Mix it up. And the thing is, don't panic that you're wasting a lot of paint, because whatever you don't use will dry out in the dish, and then you can just reactivate it again later with more water and start again and use it up. Okay, so that is, phew, that's a relief. That is bluer. And that's nice and strong. So that's dioxazine mauve and quinacridone purple. That's the purple, that's the mauve. Okie dokie, so far so good. Now the next one, we're going to use Scheveningen Rose Deep, which is a deep permanent rose or deep opera or deep, what's the other one? Like permanent rose or opera pink. Can't think. Anyway, put some water in. Mix it up. I can't think what this reminds me of. It reminds me of something. So there we are. And so that is a nice bright pink, voila, as they say in Russia. And finally, Chevening and Rose Deep over there, cobalt blue, and we'll do the same exact thing. Mix it all up nice and thoroughly. This is the kind of thing to do on a rainy afternoon. A rainy Saturday afternoon. What was that song? In Georgia. Rainy Day in Georgia? Was it Tamsin? Who was it who sang that? That was that singer. What was her name? Oh, come on, somebody out there tell me who sang Rainy Day in Georgia. That might not have been called that. Anyway, that's what it feels like to me at the moment. Okay, so we now have cobalt blue, quinacridone purple, dioxazine mauve, and permanent rose or Chevening pink, and they are all ready to go. Plus, and we don't need as much of these, so I've got them in my normal little dishes. This is transparent yellow, and I don't need that because, well, I might do. That's cobalt blue, so we need that for the green. And so that's that. So I'm going to go and wash my hands and come back and show you the next thing. So I've sketched in the shape of the Wisteria, and I'm just indicating a few leaves, making sure we make them the right shape because they're long, oval but pointed, fragile, and as Tamsin, who's a bit of a biologist, although she doesn't know it. Siri, stop it. Who asked you anyway? Honestly, you're never alone in a room with a phone. Oh dear, that's really broken my thread. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, as Tamsin said, the flowers come out before the leaves. So by the time you've got all this wonderful blossom and everything, the leaves are still very yellow and new. So they shouldn't be painted as if it's autumn because it isn't. So there we are, that's a rough sketch. Now, we're going to use various implements and stuff to do this with. I'm looking for my toothbrush, which is around here somewhere. Here we go, the purple one is the best one. So we need a toothbrush. We need a, I discovered this the other day, it's a stencil brush. And that gives a nice, what do you call it, stipply effect to that one. And then there is this, which is a denture brush. I had to have some implants done recently, and in the process I had to have a temporary plate. Oh God, that was fun. And the dentist gave me this with a triumphal glint in his eye. Oh, hateful man. Luckily it's now been reconsigned to the art box. I don't need that anymore. Then I want a flicky paintbrush, so that is to say this one, which is a what do you call it, a script liner or a dagger, depending on your mood. And then an ordinary, fairly biggish brush. That will give us splatters too. And I think that'll be enough to be going on with, probably. So something along those lines. Everybody's got a toothbrush. Many people will have that from children. Too many people will probably have one of them. You may or may not have this, but it's not that important if you don't. And your normal paintbrushes. So this is my sketch, which I did earlier. It's just like Blue Peter. Not finished yet. This is because it's not quite dry, but this is the first layer, and we're going to be aiming for something like that. And then we're going to come in on top and try to define some of the shapes a little bit with some darker colours. Or if I run out of time, I might leave you with something like that you can work on in your own fashion. So there we are. So that is going to sit over there. And this is my photo. As I said, we don't have any of that stuff here, so I have to work from a photo today. Don't ask me why I felt like doing Wisteria. Well, I do know why I felt like it, because somebody said when we did the laburnum the other day that it would be a good idea to do Wisteria. So, okay, so toothbrush. Do not be afraid of the paper. This is the thing, isn't it? So pick up one of the colours and spray it. Let big splats happen and just go for it. We'll want all of the colours. The blue, it tends to be a little bit more blue at the top. And don't worry that the splotches are small. That's okay. Oops, just put blue all over Davy. Then we might pick up this one and can you see what it is yet? I'm not wearing the right shirt today. I'm actually wearing white for once in a blue moon. Normally I wear as dirty and dark clothes as I possibly can, but today for some reason I've got a white shirt on. That was a good idea. Okay, so then we're going to drop water on using the big brush. And the more random this is, the better. Resist the temptation to control. You know you can't anyway, don't you? And then try to join up the dots. Thinking about the fact that this is a pendulous flower going down, and you do not want to mix the colours thoroughly. You just want to allow them to mix and mingle. What's the matter with Oriole now, Oriole? No, it's not dinner time. I wouldn't come up here if I were you. If he walks over this painting. Okay, so that's step one. And I think I will come in with a smaller brush, let me find one, and with a bit of green, yellowish green, just indicate these stems like that, and there's a little bit down here, because that will sort of bleed in and add to the whole effect, I hope. And there's another one here. And then we're going to probably have to wait a while for this to dry. We've got a brownish kind of, it's not brown, is it? Let me think, where did I get that from? Some darker green, and some red. A slightly darker branch there. But all the smaller twigs and things are much more yellow. So we'll put some of those in. Don't forget to change the colour as you go along. And over here where you've got some dots and things, you could incorporate those and get some nice effects there. Another one there. Okie dokie. So at this point, I might just add a little bit more blue up here, which is then going to do its thing. And this is a situation where the last thing you want to do is play or interfere or do anything at all, although you might feel as if you want to, because you need to let it dry. You could, with the blue, you could add some of the small florets around the outside like this, just as a beginning situation. And you could put some over here too. But if you make sure that they're connected to the ones that you've dropped in at random, then you'll get you might get a reasonably Wisteria-like effect. Let them connect, in other words, so the mauve runs in. It's a good idea to stretch your paper for this one. If you can't, if you don't want to, if you can't be bothered or whatever, then don't worry, but it will make it much easier for the paint if there isn't a great big cockling in the middle. Where you've got these pools of water, which I'm going to probably leave alone. I might lift a tiny bit of it out because there is quite a lot there. Yeah, I will, with a little bit of tissue paper. But if this paper wasn't stretched, there's no question about it, you would have a great big bend in the middle. I'm not going to interfere too much, just take out a little bit too much of the surplus, like that. A little bit there. and then I'm going to leave it alone because we should get some interesting effects. This original sketch, this one here that I did just now, it's not quite dry yet, but it is beginning to dry. And but you can see, I think, maybe I don't know if you can, but you can see the cockling of the paper because this is just a sketch pad. But it was good enough for me to just do a tryout. So when you want to do the real thing, then yeah. So we're going to leave that to dry. So I'll turn you off for a minute and go and have a cup of tea. If that's okay. Back in a tick. Okay, so there's the final painting. I left it to dry overnight because it was very wet, as you saw from the previews that we posted on Facebook. Very, very wet. There was lots of water on the paper and it took all night to dry, and I didn't touch it. I swear, I promise. Hand on heart, I did not touch the painting at all. And it's dried like this, which I think is quite nice. I'm quite happy with that, and I don't want to do anything else to it. Although you could. This to me is a kind of impression of Wisteria. It's kind of got the mood, it's got the lightness, it's got the feel of the flowers cascading down as they do. If your taste is for more developed paintings and you would prefer to have something that had more detail in it, at this point you can certainly go in and work with it. You can put in lots more shadows and things and make those petals of the flowers stand out more. I did just try that slightly on my sketch, but that's not really my style, so I don't really want to do that. But I know that a lot of you guys out there are really good at developing a painting to a higher level of finish. So, don't be afraid to do that. As you saw, this actually only took 5 or 10 minutes to produce. It's just a matter of literally throwing paint at the paper and then stepping back and letting it do its own thing. Talk about let the paint do the work, eh? So I have some tips on how to work up a painting a little bit more. If you go and have a look at the painting of the laburnum, that's a video I did about 2-3 weeks ago. Yellow was the colour chosen there. And we did develop one of those. We did 2, and I did develop one of them a little bit more. So maybe take a look at that. But there we are. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. It was very relaxing, quite exciting, a little bit messy. I'm going to have to paint my tabletop again because it's covered in purple paint. But don't worry, I'm sure you'll be much neater than me. Anyway, I'll let you go now, and don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications if you possibly can bear it. And I'll see you again tomorrow. So have a lovely evening. Bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye.